Hello and welcome back to the Therapy by Craft YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. I am the maker and your host behind Therapy by Craft, where we talk a lot about knitting, mostly socks, sometimes blankets, and just other like random things that come to mind as I'm recording. I hope you have a beverage or a project or whatever, something to do while we chat today. We have quite a bit. I'm hoping, despite the fact that I have a bit to talk about, that we're able to go through it pretty quickly. I don't have that much time today, so I'm hoping that we can get through it pretty quickly, but I have a finished blanket to share. I have some socks, surprise, surprise. And some giveaway winners. So if that's interesting to you, please stick around. Let's get started. The first finished object I want to share is actually the blanket that I shared last time. It is the Rainbow Ripple Blanket by Celeste Young, I think. Yeah, Celeste Young. It is a crocheted pattern, and I made mine out of Malabrigo. Oh, I'm gonna have to get up to show you. And here it is. Ta-da! Oh, whoa! I'm about to slip and fall. Isn't that great? Oh, I love it. I'm so excited about this. Okay, so some details about this yarn, about this project. So I started this project on August 26th, and then I finished it on September 3rd. So not that long at all, if you think about it. Like I said, I made this out of Malabrigo Rios. I shared in my last episode that this yarn is pretty unique. It's gorgeous and it feels really soft. Just 100% superwash merino. It's in the colorway Sandbank, and actually, believe it or not, the entire blanket is in Sandbank. But the way that they dye their yarn, they dye it kettle dyed, I believe, and so each skein is unique. There's no dye lot. I don't think there's a dye lot. Each skein is unique in their color. It's very, I don't want to say variegated because that means something else, but it varies from skein to skein. And there's a really beautiful thing about that. Obviously, if you're making a sweater or a garment or something, you're really going to have to be careful by alternating your skeins. But in this blanket, oh, it turned out so good. And look at that drape. Ooh, it's so flowy. I used a 5mm hook, or a USH, I think. Is it different? I don't know. I ended up using 504 grams total. So when I weighed this at the end, it totaled 504 grams. Before blocking, it was about 41 inches from like corner to corner, or like tip to tip this way. And then after blocking, it was 45 inches. So Malabrigo Rios grows quite a bit. And if you see, if you remember what it looked like last week when I showed it as a work in progress, or last episode when I showed it as a work in progress, it's pretty stiff, or it can feel a little bit stiff when you're first working with it, but after you block it out, look at that drape. I love it so much. I cannot recommend it enough. I get why people get addicted to this, and I kind of want to make another one. But as you will see, I have quite a bit that I'm thinking about doing. So that second Rainbow Ripple blanket will have to wait. But this is my first finished object that I love. It's going to be a gift for a friend. So now that I showed it to you guys, I can mail it out. And I hope that they love it as much as I do. Okay, so that's finished object number one. The next 3 finished objects are all socks. I'll start with this one, which is my full moon fiber socks in the pattern is Second Breakfast by Sock Witchery. I think it's Lindsay Shane Kirchner. I don't know if you can see that texture on there, but that's what it looks like. And let me adjust the lighting while you guys are looking at this. Be a little bit better. 64 stitches. It is a pattern sock. After making some more vanilla socks more recently, I really was in the mood for something squishy. This yarn is a 2-ply yarn. The full moon fiber is in the colorway Metamorphic, and the yarn is a pretty plump base. It is 80/20. It's a 2-ply 80/20 base, very squishy, very plump as it is. And then I really wanted to do a patterned sock, and so doing the Second Breakfast pattern with this yarn, just like the squish of this is quite amazing. I highly recommend it. I did 20 rounds of 2x2, and then I think I did 50 rounds of leg. I did a heel flap and gusset, and then the gusset and the foot together was like 80 rounds before I finished off with a toe. I think my gauge is changing or something, because I made these socks as a gift for a friend who has smaller feet than me, but I used my sock ruler and I ended up doing more rounds for her sock, even though she has a smaller shoe size. And I think that my knitting is tightening up, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good problem to have, but it just means I have more knitting to do. But I am quite pleased with the fabric of this. It is quite dense, and especially after blocking it out, I really like how it looks. I've been binge watching, by the way, Summer Lee's videos on YouTube, and she is someone who advocates for blocking your socks. Kayla of the Crazy Sock Lady is another person that I watch, which you've heard me talk about time and time again, and she does not block her socks. She couldn't be bothered to do it, which is totally fine. Summer Lee always advocates for blocking your socks at least once when they're off your needles, and I have found that I really like that. It just looks very pleasing. I don't need to put them on blockers to even show you guys what these socks look like. So you'll notice that I am showing you guys socks blocked instead of on sock blockers, and that is the reason why. It's because I have been influenced by Summer Lee. Anywho, these were started on August 17th and finished on September 5th. And I am glad I'm showing you guys this today, because I'm going to be gifting them for a friend this week. So yeah, today was my one chance to show it to you guys. The next finished pair is actually going to be part of a set. If you guys watched last episode, my friend Audrey from Dusty Yarn Co., she reached out to me many weeks ago to ask if I would be willing to try and test out her new sock base, and I jumped on that, because why would I not? Why would I say no to that? And I made it a mission. So she sent me 3 sock sets. It comes with a 50-gram a 50-gram skein with 2 20-gram minis. So in total, it would be like 90 grams. She sent me 3 of those and basically said, have fun, do what you want with them. I knew that I wanted to make a couple of samples for her and her partner, and I have done that. I have finished 2 pairs of socks to give back to Audrey from the colors that she gave to me. I really love them. This is the first one. Ta-da! Look how great they are. I can't get over it. This is my dusty sock sample. And I gave myself a couple of rules to, like, I wanted to be creative with these colors, but I also gave myself a couple of rules to abide by. And the first was, I wanted to make sure that I could make a pair of socks from one sock set that she gave me. So like I mentioned, it's 50 grams and then 2 20 grams. Now, every hank that I've gotten from Audrey so far have been quite generous. So if it's supposed to be 100 grams, it's always like 103 grams. And this instance was no different. Her 50 gram, I think, came with like 53 grams. Yeah, her 50 gram skein ended up being about 53 grams, and her 20 gram skeins ended up being about like 22, 23 grams. Either way, I just wanted to make sure that if any of you guys decide to purchase a sock set like that from Audrey, that you would be able to create socks like this, right? I thought that would be the most helpful. So that's what I wanted to do. I also wanted them to be fun and, I don't know, something that I obviously would want to wear even though these are not for me. And I wanted them to be fraternal because I just think that that's so fun. I'm really loving that. So as you can see, they match, but they don't match. What did I do? I used a US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle. That's the same for all of my socks. I use a ChowGoo 32-inch red lace needle to do all of my socks on magic loop. For this pair, I basically used the vanilla sock pattern. I think it's like Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady, but I added stripes inside or throughout. So I did 20 rounds of 2x2 rib for the cuff. And then I alternated colors every 3 rounds for about, how many? I don't know how many rounds I did. Oh, 50 rounds. And then I did a heel flap and gusset. And then I did, again, alternating every 3 rounds again. I did about 5 rounds of the contrast color before decreasing for the toe. This was made to fit an EU 42, I believe, which is a women's 10 or a US men's 9. And in total, I used 68 grams. I started these on September 6th and I finished them on September 8th. Yes, you heard that correctly, folks. I knit these in 2 days because I couldn't put them down. The base, I think Audrey's calling it soft sock base. I don't know if she has committed to that. I don't know if she's fully decided on that base name yet, but it is a 90-10 sock blend or fiber blend, and it is a 4-ply sock yarn. And I can't tell you how exciting it is for me that 4-ply yarn is being, or 4-ply sock yarn is being made available somewhere in 50 gram hanks. I am so thrilled about that. I'm learning more and more that I prefer 4-ply over 2-ply. I don't know if it's because of the climate that I live in, but the 2-ply is absolutely very squishy, and it does feel, yeah, really like bouncy and round, and I do see the appeal for the 2-ply yarns, but I don't like the experience of knitting it as much. I do feel like it's a little bit thicker, so wearing them inside my shoes are not as comfortable, and also I feel like it's pretty like splitty. I don't know. How is ply a noun or a verb? Do you say there are 2 plies that are put together, wound together, spun together, or do you say there are 2 blanks that are plied together? Is it a verb? I'm not a spinner, so I don't know. So for those of you guys who do spin, can you let me know in the comments below? I don't know what the verbiage is, but all that to say, I like a 4-ply. I like when 4 plies are plied together rather than a 2-ply plied together. I just find it to be more comfortable to work with and comfortable to wear. It also feels to me like they last longer too, because there's like more spin or more twist to it, right? Feels more sturdy. But anyway, I'm very, very excited that you guys will have access to 50 grams of 4-ply sock yarn with Audrey very, very soon. That's pair number 1 for that sample. Pair number 2 looks like this. Okay, and y'all, I need you to tell me, does this give like fall Macademia vibes, or does it give like Freddy Krueger vibes? I can't tell. I don't know. What do you guys think? So this, very similar. Instead of 20 rounds of 2x2, I did 30 rounds of 2x2. I wanted to have a really chunky cuff. Then I did 40 rounds of striping, and for this sock I did 10. I switched it every 10. For this sock I switched it every 5. I did a heel flap and gusset again, but since I alternated every 5 rounds here, I alternated every 10 for the foot, and then I swapped it on this side. So again, fraternal socks, but just slightly different in terms of how I did the striping. I was able to knit this pair with a sock set as well. I ended up using a total of around 67 grams for this sock. Again, it's for an EU 42, a US women's 10, or a US men's 9. I will say though that the grams that I used for each color on this makes it so that you couldn't really do it with a 50-20-20, like a true 50-20-20, unless you have a smaller foot or you're making it for a smaller size. For this pair, the main color is Doany. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know, but it's this like oatmeal-y color. I used around 28 grams of that main color. Contrast color 1 is this brown, which is a mid-century. It's called mid-century, and I used about 18 grams for the cuff and for the toes on both socks. And then contrast number 2 is this red. It's called Say It, which is like such a good red. Anyway, that I ended up using about 22 grams. So I had enough because, like I said, Audrey's mini skeins are still pretty generous. It comes in like, what, 22, 23 grams. I still had some left over, actually. How much did I have left over? Yeah, this is how much I had left over of Say It after completing the sock. But I was still able to do it. So if you do less rounds, or if you make the foot or the leg a little bit shorter, then absolutely you will be able to make a pair like this. This one I started on September 9th. I cast this one immediately after finishing this one, and I completed it on September 15th. So it took me just under a week to finish these socks. So here they are. This is what it looks like so far. I think with the 3 sock sets that she gave to me to try out, I will be able to make 4 adult socks and 1 toddler sock. I am quite pleased and very thrilled about that. I just think that's really, really cool. And hopefully that gives you some data as well, like what you can do, how far a sock set can take you, especially if it's tonals and you want to play around with your minis, or if you have leftover yarn that you have laying around that you think would pair well with other scraps that you have. Yeah, you can check out my Ravelry projects page. Oh, I didn't even say Instagram and Ravelry is Therapy by Craft. That's where you can find me. And all the details, I've been taking meticulous notes on like weight and grams and all of that for these projects because I do want it to be helpful information, not just for Audrey, but for you, if you're interested in making socks like these. So the third pair that I'm making with the yarn that she sent over to me is this. And this is a half finished object because I finished the sock. Now we're going into whips. I finished the sock, but I don't have the second one started yet. Isn't that cute? Ah, this is the wide ribbed, it's one of the wide ribbed socks pattern. Is it one of, I don't know, it's like part of a, Summer Lee has a pattern bundle, kind of like in one pattern there's multiple ways that you can knit up. There's multiple views, I guess you could say. And this is part of her ribbed bundle. And this is the wide ribbed sock. And I modified it to add 3 rounds of the contrast color for every 12 rounds of the main color. So what that means is from here to the end of the first contrast color, this mini stripe is 15 rounds. So 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, like that. That's how you can count those rounds. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I didn't weigh this or anything. I just finished it last night and blocked it, but I just think it's so cute. I am obsessed with stripes right now. I don't know. It's really unlocked some inspiration for me watching Summer Lee and her socks and having these various tonals in sock yarn. Look at how wonderfully fun. It feels like I have a fresh box of crayons that I'm just like coloring and playing around with in these socks. And it's making me fall in love with sock knitting all over again because it's such a small canvas, but there's so much that can be done within that canvas. I think I even had a dream about sock knitting last night. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, I think I had a dream about the next pair of socks that I want to knit. But yes, this pair will get done. What I'm going to do for the second sock actually is it'll be with reservation only, but instead of, so I'm using it, or this project is being held in this project bag by Barley and Pearls. And what I'm going to do next for the second sock, it's going to be fraternal because of course, but I'm going to use Mid-Century and Say It as the contrast colors. Oof. So since I have less of Mid-Century, that will go here. And then Say It will be the heel and then the foot, the striping in the foot. Wouldn't it be cute? So sock number 1 and then sock number 2 will have these colors in it. I'm very, very excited. But I also have been knitting my socks one at a time lately, mostly because I wanted to, like, I'm weighing my yarn as I go. Typically, I will knit my socks in tandem, so it's 2 at a time in tandem on their own separate needles. That is my preference for sock knitting, so that I don't lose steam, so that I don't have second sock syndrome. But as I'm testing out her yarn, I didn't want to like jump into a certain idea because I didn't know how much yarn it was going to use. And I really wanted to make sure that I was going to have enough for that second sock. And if I wasn't going to have enough for that second sock, I needed to change things around like mid sock so that I would end up with enough grams for the second sock. It also helped a lot that I'm making the socks fraternal. So it gave me that extra motivation and that extra spark to want to make that second sock because it wasn't going to be exactly the same. So for instance, here I think I made this one first, and as soon as I was done with this, I cast this on immediately because I was like, oh, I think it's gonna look super cute with the stripes like flipped. Same with this. That's why I got done with these in 2 days, even though I made them one at a time. It was just very, very exciting. And what I found with that is I'm kind of doing that with my other sock whips too. I have a pair of vanilla socks on the go, and that is being held in another project bag by Barley and Pearls. It's this little cat. These like cats, and they're so precious and adorable. And this one is Starry Night by Arcane Fiberworks. So the tag is there. And this is the color. It's called Starry Night. I love it. This is also a half finished object because one sock is done. This clearly is not blocked. You can totally tell that this has not been blocked. And yeah, Arcane Fiberworks base, their fingering sock base is an 80/20 merino nylon superwash yarn, and their yarn is actually a 3-ply fingering weight yarn. And I've never worked with 3-ply before, but I have decided that I like it. It is a good, I don't know, I guess it has the best of both worlds. It has enough plies in there. It has enough plies that it doesn't split when I'm working with it, but it still has that plumpiness of a 2-ply so that it feels really squishy. It feels really durable. I think this is going to be very warm to wear. I don't think I can wear these socks in my tennis shoes, but I definitely plan to wear them with my Birks and inside my boots. I think it'll be really nice. But yes, I actually have so much Arcane Fiberworks yarn, so you guys are probably going to be seeing that a lot. Side note, I love that they show their dyeing process, like they show it in the reels on Instagram. My daughter loves it too. Every so often she'll ask me if we can watch a yarn dyeing video, and we'll sit there and we'll look through Arcane Fiberworks yarn dyeing reels, and she and I will play a game like, oh, what do you think, like they're gonna flip the yarn and do different colors this time, or do you think they'll do the same colors this time? She really likes it when whoever's dyeing the yarn like goes in and like massages the yarn. I don't know, she for whatever reason is very, very much enjoys the Arcane Fiberworks yarn dyeing videos, like the pan dyeing. But anyway, this is Starry Night based on the Van Gogh painting, and when I saw that they had that, I had to get it. Starry Night is the first like masterpiece painting that I saw in person that moved me to tears. I actually went with my mom. My mom and I both really like the arts, like fine arts, modern art, whatever. We used to go to museums together when I was in high school. And I remember they had Van Gogh's Starry Night in the Houston Museum of Art, something like that. And she and I just stood in front of the painting for like a full 15 minutes with tears like coming down our faces. And I don't know what it was about that painting that felt so beautiful to me. I just remember feeling very emotional standing in front of that painting, and it was like the colors were so like vivid but dark, and the way that Van Gogh paints, there's such texture to it and depth to this painting. And I don't know, I'm like kind of getting into my feels right now even just describing it, but because of that, like I don't know, that painting holds a very special place in my heart. So when that gets translated into like yarn, like of course I have to have it, and that's what ended up happening. This is just my on-the-go meeting knitting. It's straight vanilla. There's nothing special that I'm doing to it. It's 20 rounds, 2x2. I think it's about 50 rounds in the leg, heel, flap, and gusset. I don't know, however many rounds for the foot, and then decreasing for the toe. This is the last like summery colorway that I'm using. Everything else moving forward is either going to be samples, like autumnal samples for Audrey, or just, yeah, fun sock knitting to celebrate autumn. Speaking of which, I have another kind of sample sock that I am knitting that I haven't really talked about much. I haven't even talked about it a lot on my Instagram page because this has sort of taken precedent at the moment. But there is another pair of socks that I'm working on that's stripey, and it is for another friend of mine, Amanda, who is the owner of Buku Yarns as well as the dyer of Buku Yarn. And I am making more stripey socks. She is another dyer who's going to be having 50-gram 4-plied sock yarn available very soon in her shop. Isn't it great? Let me show you. I don't know what the names of these colors are, but I'm holding a tonal with a variegated yarn together. It's being held in my Mountain State Stitches project bag, by the way. But this dark gray is a semi-tonal, and oh, it's kind of blowing out a little bit, but I think you can get the picture. And I am making a pair of socks for Amanda in preparation for the SoCal Fiber Fest that's coming at the end of November. So since that is a little farther away, I am taking my time with this pair, although I'm like, it's like so stinking cute. I love it. The first pair I'm going to do stripes every 2 rounds, like 2-round stripes. And then the fraternal like second sock is going to have 5-round stripes. So for those of you guys who are interested, I am actually pretty much following Kay of the Crazy Sock Ladies share a pair sock striping video. I don't think it's a tutorial because it's not a sock knitting tutorial, but she does describe how she does the 2-round stripes. She used to do a lot of what, like, I forget who the yarn dyer was, but she used to make socks using share pairs, which is 2 50-gram skeins that she would like make socks with. And I like her, I don't know, I was inspired by that. And so that's what this is. This marker, by the way, or the stitch marker, is from Hello Lavender, Reshma at Hello Lavender, and it's so gorgeous. I got some stitch markers from her recently, and I can't believe I waited this long to get stitch markers from her. They're like so much prettier in person than when you see them in photos, which is saying a lot because she takes the most gorgeous photos. But yeah, that's what's on here. And let's see, is there anything else I wanted to say about that? No, I don't think so. Again, I'm just so thrilled that the 50-gram sock yarn, 4-ply sock yarn, is being more and more available. I don't know if it's available everywhere, but it is becoming more available to me, and I am loving that for me. I just love it. Okay, moving right along. Where did it go? Oh, I have the last pair of socks that I want to share with you. I cast on last night. I finished this sock last night, and as a reward to myself, I cast on a DK weight pair of Marled socks. Each time I make a DK pair of socks, I swear off DK socks. I know they go by quickly, and I do love that, but I don't know. I think it hurts my hands. I say that with a question mark at the end though, because I don't know if it actually does. I just think it's not as comfortable as knitting socks with fingering weight yarn. And so each time I make a DK weight pair of socks, I tell myself, I don't want to do this again. Even though I do like the end result, the process of knitting it doesn't feel as enjoyable as the process of knitting fingering weight socks. But Stephanie of Edible Thoughts Makes, she released, or she had recently, like a series of videos where she was presenting all of the finished objects, all of the things that she's been up to over the summer. And the very last installment of that series included like a sock parade. And she had posted about this on her Instagram anyway, because she's pretty good about posting on her Instagram page. But when she shared the DK pair of Marled socks that she made for her daughters, I was like, dang it, now I want a pair of Marled DK weight socks. It also didn't help that the weather cooled down and I pulled out some of the socks that I have. And one of the socks that I have is a DK weight, like a DK pair of socks, and they're so cozy and they're so comfortable and I really like it. And I'm like, I want more of these. So I did that. I couldn't get it out of my head. It was in my head for like a couple days and it just wouldn't go away. So yeah, I allowed myself to cast on a pair of DK weight socks. And to make it more interesting, to make the process more interesting for myself, I am marling a self-striping yarn with a neutral yarn. And here is the result. Isn't it cute? Isn't that pretty? Ooh, this was a good decision. Good job, Eunice. This was a very, very good decision. The yarn I am marling together is a Nomadic Yarns. I think this is called You Vex Me. It is, do you see how saturated it is and how vibrant the colors are? I do plan to make a pair of socks with just this held single because it's so pretty. But for now anyway, I'm marling this with Cascade Heritage, like a Cascade Heritage neutral in the color Macademia. And together it's creating this like beautiful marling that it feels nice. I am enjoying the process so far. Like I said, I cast this on last night, and because it is DK weight, it is going by more quickly. And there's, I don't know, it's actually working up nice. Like it's not hurting my hands. I don't feel uncomfortable. Like it's going okay. To the point where I'm kind of like, maybe I do this some more. I have a lot of self-striping sock yarns right now. I am subscribed to Freckled Whimsy's self-striping sock yarn club. Her yarn club. And initially I had these grand plans of, you know, making sure that I use that sock or use that yarn in the month that I receive it, but that quickly did not work out. I wanted to at least make a pair for Sam every month using the Freckled Whimsy sock yarns, but that didn't happen. And because it is a yarn club, there are some colorways that I've received that I'm like, about. Like they're all beautiful, but they're not ones that I would have necessarily chosen for myself. And so for those colorways, I'm thinking maybe I do make like a shorty pair of socks, or I work them in somehow to where I can appreciate the colors as they are intended to be. But then maybe I can also make a marled sock so that the colors are a little bit more, I don't know if muted is the right word, but I don't know, it just makes it a little more fun and there's a little more something to it. Because I'm very much enjoying this. Like this is what I want to work on today, actually, while I'm in meetings and stuff. And I think that is about it for like what's actually on my needles that I'm working on. I do have other blankets. I did pick up my Coziest Memories blanket again, but I didn't make that much progress on it, so I will share that next time. And I think the only thing that's left to talk about are the garments. I did swatch. This is my Sorella yarn swatch for the campus vest. And this is my knitting for olive swatch. I know. I should have done more. I know. All right. We're not going to talk about that. But this is my swatch for the Evelyn top. I don't know if I meant gauge or not. I haven't even measured it. I recorded the video last time. I had all of this gusto and energy and excitement about knitting these garments. And then after I finished the video, I swatched and then I blocked it. And then I just started working on socks again. Yeah. But regardless of that, I'm still going to do the giveaway. So thank you to all of those who commented and let me know your excitement about one or both of these garments. I will go ahead and post now, or put up a picture of the 3 winners of the Evelyn top. So please take a look at the screen. If this is you, if this is one of your comments, then congratulations. Please email me at therapybycraftpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know in that email which one of these you are, like who you are, as well as your Ravelry name, if you have Ravelry. If you don't have Ravelry, let me know that too, and I'll reach out to the designer to figure out how to best get that pattern to you. Here are the winners for the campus vest. We have 2 winners for the campus vest, and same directions apply. If you are one of these winners, one of these 2 winners, please email me at therapybycraftpodcast@gmail.com. Include which one of these you are, include your Ravelry name, or give me a heads up that you don't have one and we can send it over to you through email. But yeah, that's it for me. I am honestly on a sock, like my sock mojo has not died down. I am still very excited about my sock knitting. Now that it's also the Falling Leaves sock make along. Is that the handle or is that the hashtag? Oh, I don't remember. It's hosted by Denise of Earth Tones Girl. It is a autumn fall like make along, sock make along, and that is, yeah, like that's reigniting a fire that's already been there. It hasn't really died down at all, but it's just really keeping that going, and I'm very, very happy about that. I think the count for finished socks year to date is like 33. Is it 33 or 34? It is 33. I've made 33 pairs of socks in 2024, and I could not be more proud of myself. I don't think I'm slowing down at all. Clearly, I have at least 3 or 4 more to add to that, plus other ones that I'm thinking about. Like I said, I dreamt last night about knitting a sock toe up. Knitting toe up socks, which, you know, I'm not really a fan of, but I don't know. I am finding myself wanting to break away from my typical mold of top down, cuff down, heel flap and gusset. You know, like I'm finding myself being interested in learning new skills again, which is really hopeful for me. Like I feel really good about that because I don't always want to do that. And for a long time, and even now a little bit, I think the knitting has played a role in my life of like comfort, like because I don't know, it's been more of a comfort thing. And so I have not welcomed like any kind of new or any type of stress inducing anything into my knitting. But lately it's been very fun, and I've been wanting to kind of venture out and take risks, which I haven't wanted to do in a while. So anyway, all that to say, thank you again for joining me if you're a returning viewer, or thank you for being here if you are new. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Again, still very, very, very close to that 3,000 subscriber number. I think I'm about like 50 subscribers away, something like that. And when that happens, I am planning to do another giveaway, which I already have the yarn for, hint, hint. So yeah, thank you for being here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.